Hello. I don't got anybody here, which is fine. Hello. All right. Let's see here. If you want to come in here, we're going to do the pop-out feed here. Pop-out chat. You landed in what? Moisty. That's terrible. Okay. Let's engage. Okay. If you are here, I have my pop-out chat. So David Segovia. Why is David Segovia in here? David Segovia doesn't need to be here. David Segovia. This is not a live Twitch stream of Fortnite. Is it NITE? Oh, that's funny. You guys need to chime in. Tell me who's in the room. I shows I have 10 people here, so I think that might be helpful. He wants more knowledge. Who is Lunt? You guys are so funny with these like usernames that you guys have. And just so that we understand each other, I can. Okay, there's the the live stream of oh, it's got to download. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you are here for the AP review, welcome. Good evening. It is 8:02, and the reason you're here is so you can hear me talk. So, can you comment, please? You want to make sure that you're able to comment. So, number one, I think you need to be logged in with a personal account, like your personal Gmail account, so that you can what do you call it? So you can comment. I don't know if you're on your school account, if it's going to let you comment. So it's starting now, Danny. Now I'm online. Okay. So can you please comment and let me know how much I need to know how the sound levels are working, whether or not I need to talk or use the camera micro or the computer microphone. So if you guys can comment, please let me know what you think. As far as sound goes, I just need to know if I need to change or modify what I've got going on here. So why don't you guys help me with that? Everything sounds good. Where do I donate? No, no donation. No donation. It doesn't work that way. So the sound is good. Okay, great. Everything sounds good. So I was thinking that for the first part of this AP review, we could look. I guess I could take feedback from you guys as to what you'd like to learn about, what you'd like to talk about, um, etc. So if you have anybody has a suggestion as to what to cover, I have come prepared as I have my preparing for AP European History examination book. And David Segovia, if you're still in here, I hope that you find enlightenment in this discussion that we're going to have. So what you should have on your screen, you should probably have this book out because I'm going to reference this. I'm going to tell you what pages to look at. I'm also going to that's so terrible, Jonah. Thank you. I'd like to see that money sometime. And meanwhile, I'm at 33% downloaded, so I can play as Thanos. So that's my goal tonight, is to show you guys how to find Thanos when you drop from the bus. Like, get to it quick, make it happen. Okay, so I see no comments. I could just start if you want me to, but I wanted to take the time to get suggestions from you guys. You guys are studying, you're trying to get this. You're trying to prepare yourself for this test. And clearly, we're not going to cover how to write a good essay necessarily today. I think we've done enough practice over this school year. I think also that right now it's more get that content underneath your belt so that you can call upon it from your mind and your memory banks when the time comes and you're taking this test and you're faced with a multiple choice question that says, what about absolute monarchies? How did they deal with their parliaments, etc.? And so we can go from England. Okay, let me see. What else can I do on this thing? Let me see here. Can I draw? Oh, you guys, look. You guys see that? It's time to ready up. And I'm not gonna know. This is just kidding. Danny, hi. Lunch lady, boy toy one. Thanos is over. And I'm not gonna ready up while I'm doing this. So can you guys tell me what you want to learn or discuss? Otherwise, I'm just going to randomly pick parts that I don't think we've talked about so far. And yeah, just started. Okay, fine. We are going to start after the scientific revolution and look at chapter 7, political and social dynamics of the 1700s. That is on page 207. Whoa, Danny Joe, what about the English Civil War? Okay, well, why don't we find that? English Civil War would be under, let me find it. Oh, that's the Age of Exploration, okay. The Glorious Revolution's fun. And to think about 18th century politics, no, that's not gonna work. Nope. It's in the 1500s. Okay, let's see here. Calvinism, English Reformation. Aha! After Henry's death. Okay, let me read it. Okay, so English Civil War it is. And we are past Henry VIII. Remember that Henry VIII in the 16th century decides to split from the Catholic Church because he wants a divorce. He wants to marry Anne Boleyn and have kids with her because he couldn't have a male heir with his first wife, Catherine. And divorce was forbidden by the church, which kind of stunk at the time. So I am finding the part. Okay, here we go. Absolutism, Louis the 15th. Hang on, give me a second, you guys. Prussia, Russia, Spain. Man, where is this? Cameron Ecobellis, why are you here? Okay, here we go. You want a page number? It's 154. In this book right here, it says England in the 17th century. Okay, I can read it. It's a good thing I memorized this. Okay, so James the Sixth of Scotland, cousin of Queen Elizabeth I, assumed the English throne in 1603 and founded the Stuart dynasty, having helped Queen Elizabeth rule. Parliament immediately clashed with James because he claimed the divine right of kings. James also had difficulty dealing with Puritan leaders, many of whom served in the House of Commons or held other important jobs. So England, lag, lunch lady boy, can you, I think that's your connection, not mine, to be honest with you. So Charles I becomes the king in 1625. Let me read. Okay, and then there's a deal because when Charles comes in, he continues the conflicts with Parliament, but the Parliament wants to limit royal power. Like his father, he clashed with his subjects over the collection of extra legal taxes and religious policies. And so when Charles tried to force the Scottish Presbyterian Church to use the Anglican Book of Common Prayer, Scotland declared war on England. Charles was forced to call Parliament and ask for funds, but the Long Parliament of 1640 to 1660 granted funds only in return for new restrictions on the king's power. So the Cavaliers, there's a civil war that breaks out. Is there still lag, people? Do you guys still see English Civil War? Ongoing struggle between Stuart monarchs and the Parliament led to constitutional system. Okay, so basically it goes like this. England has historically had a parliament that has had more control, more success in fighting with the king over his power. Okay, so kings of the time, let's say 16th century, 17th century, it becomes an issue of who does the king derive his power from? And in most cases, it's God and it's the church. God gives the power. Therefore, there should be no fighting when it comes to, thank you, Cameron. I love that you're in my class. So the idea is that absolute power is the rule. But in England, the parliament, which is an elected body, at least early on, it is more democratic. The parliament fights to limit the power of the king in terms of money and in terms of laws and restrictions on the abuse of power. So the parliament's job is to keep the king in check. And that comes to a head in this part of the 17th century. And you have always the struggle of, there's a Catholic king, and then right after that, it's followed by a Protestant king. And it's just back and forth in religious fighting within the country. And so it's not good in the long run. And Parliament's job is to try to limit the king's ability to affect this sweeping change that throws the people into an uproar. And so the Civil War starts in 1641. 1641, there are the Cavaliers, who are the supporters of the king, facing the Roundheads, the supporters of Parliament, and parliamentary forces allied with Scotland, trained in the latest military tactics by Oliver Cromwell, captured the king in 1646, but the parliamentary forces split. They purged the parliament, and they made Oliver Cromwell the protector of England. So, yeah, so there are religious reasons, there are monarchy, power, authority reasons why the war started in England. And as a result, they got rid of their monarchy and they established for a short time a commonwealth under Oliver Cromwell, who turns out to be partly a tyrant himself. So I'm reading from page 155 on Oliver Cromwell. So you guys can be with me, can highlight this. There is a rump parliament, the levelers, there's all kinds of things. You can just read the story, but Parliament deemed army rule unworkable and so restored the Stuart monarchy, and Charles II was crowned in 1660. So this Cromwell guy is actually, it's funny. We think of the French Revolution as the big upending of traditional norms in Europe during its time in the 18th century, but what happened in England a century earlier was much more, I think, savage, because the Levelers, a radical group of reformers, advocated extreme democracy and equality, and the Rump Parliament was difficult to work with. Cromwell crushed the Levelers, sent the Rump Parliament home, and then set himself up as the protector of England in 1653, using the military to keep his power. Like, this guy really wanted it, and by all accounts, he ruled England as not a monarch, but clearly the people of England saw that not having a monarch was a bad thing. At least maybe it wasn't what they were used to, and so they restored their monarchy. And then, funny, not anybody's surprised. Charles II and James II, they're fighting over Catholic Protestant again, and the people of England don't want any of it. And so you can see Charles II follows Oliver Cromwell, followed by James II, who is Catholic. And let's see here, AP tip. It is important to understand the differences between the Tories and Whigs. Tories disliked James but wanted to retain the traditional system of succession. Whigs wanted to exclude him from the throne. These differences simmered until the birth of James's Catholic son, and between 1688, the Glorious Revolution, in 1832, Whigs were more open to reform, but neither party. So this is where also you see the birth of the two major parties in England, and the two major parties are the Whigs and the Tories. One's more in favor of change, and that is the Whigs, and then the Tories are the more conservative group in the English Parliament. And so you have it, fearing this whole Catholic takeover of England. You have the Glorious Revolution, which comes in 1688, 1689. The Tory leaders joined with the Whigs to invite William of Orange, husband of James's Protestant daughter Mary, to rule England. William and Mary raised an army and sailed to England in 1689 to fight for the throne, but James and his family fled to France. This glorious revolution brought to power two monarchs who agreed to recognize Parliament as the source of their power and to accept the Bill of Rights as the basis for constitutional monarchy, further settling the old wounds. William and Mary and Parliament agreed to the Toleration Act, which granted Puritans but not Catholics the right to publicly worship. So there you go. Will this be on the final? It could be. That's a good question. That might be on the final. And so you have, as a birth of the English Revolution, what I would call the Enlightenment part of government, or the Enlightenment thinking on how best to have government. And you'll have Thomas Hobbes writing the Leviathan, and you'll have John Locke theorizing on natural rights and self-government, all of these things that really affect the world going forward. So the English Civil War is a pretty big moment in English history. In college, I took a what do you call it? History of England. Maybe it was called British history. I'm not sure what the name of the class was, but it was all about this stuff. All the intrigue between who's going to be the next king, the Tudors, the Stuarts, and then, the more modern stuff with, the Victorian era, and then the rule of Queen Elizabeth II, etc. So there you go. Let's see here. How much money will this make you on Twitch? Well, first of all, this is on Twitch. This is YouTube Live. So welcome everybody to a new platform that I'm going to push with my 13 followers. 13 of you. You guys, I love you. I love you so much. Okay, so there you go. Ramifications for the big picture are the Enlightenment. So release the answer transcripts. I don't have them. Even if I did, I am sworn under oath to protect and defend the answer scripts for the AP European History exam. So here's one thing. Okay, so some of you guys who are seniors or juniors, you've taken AP tests before. What happens is after the AP test, everybody gets on Twitter and posts memes of what the experience was like. And so what I'm going to be on is I'm going to be on Twitter. I love you guys. Danielle. Let's see, Danielle. Okay, Danielle, he doesn't love you back. Oh, I love you all. Okay, there you go. Anyways, what's next? Let's go. What do we got? I'll wait. Somebody. Meanwhile, I can. I feel sad now. Really. It's so terrible. Elmo Jam. Oh yeah, you guys, Elmo Jam is on Friday. Mr. Pongco, can you explain the unification of Germany? And oh my god. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go. Danny, I think you know encomienda. That is obviously the system of labor that was developed by the Spanish as they ruled in South and Central America. So I'm not going to touch on that one so much, but I think the unification of Germany and Italy deserves some attention. So let me find you guys the right place in the book. So AP World. What is this AP World? Henry, is that an AP World subject encomienda? Age. Okay, here we go. Realism. Okay, here we go. Italian unification. Okay, so new subject, new topic is German unification and Italian unification. Okay, so can't go 30 years or more yet. You gotta be faster than that, Hassan. I'm sorry, you're slow. You're too slow here. Okay, so what's important whenever you pick a topic to talk about, or to discuss, or to think about, or to write about, you have to think about what happened before. So let's put German unification and Italian unification in the 19th century, but the second half. So let's look at years. It says there was an attempted revolution in 1830s in Italy, but that failed. And then in 1870, so second half of the 19th century, Italy unifies. And let's look at this. By the second half, by 1866, Prussia is able to unify Germany. So, or Prussia under Bismarck is able to unify that country under one flag, the Germany. So there you go. So context, Muhammad says, fall of the Congress of Vienna. Forget History Channel. This is giving me knowledge. This is so funny, you guys. You guys are so good. Okay, so the Concert of Europe. I'm on page 291. You guys see that? 291 is where I'm going to find this. And Napoleon III was eager to reestablish France. Okay, so post French Revolution. So you got to go to the beginning of the 18th century to understand how things get to the point where countries are starting to reform and you're reshaping the balance of power in Europe in the 19th century. So after Napoleon's conquering of Europe, and then let's see, but like, what the actual heck did the Congress of Vienna establish again? I don't know what you're. I don't think you're. No, it didn't. Okay, let's Danielle. Danielle who? With the sleeping panda as your icon. I don't understand. Okay, Muhammad says the Congress of Vienna is a conservative rule by concert of Europe to. Oh, you got to keep going, Muhammad. Like you're teaching us a lot about this class without us even knowing. Hey, where you going? Across the street? Okay. Sub to. Okay, so Muhammad, we needed to be a little bit more specific here. Legit monarchs back to the throne to stop liberal. Okay, good. That's a better Danny Joe. Good job. Nice Apple Watch, right? Okay, so it goes like this. Danny Siegel, and don't hit on my icon. I put that years ago and it won't change. Oh, that's funny. You can change that. So it goes like this. After Napoleon's conquering of Europe, scared everybody. We said we can't have France be like this again. So the Concert of Europe, led by Metternich and the like, decided to get together and make sure that there weren't any revolts, that any revolutions that took place, we favored the traditional monarchies that ruled in traditional powers of Europe at the time. And they were successful for a good 30 years. And so, yes, Muhammad says it's a reaction to Napoleon's expanding empire. Correct. Danny says, God bless you too. Thank you so much. Sal says, Bruce Wayne dies in Infinity War. That is terrible. And what else? Let's see here. Okay. So anyways, German unification and Italian unification are part of this notion that these countries need to reassert their power or to take the world stage for the first time. And so, Hassan, we're not doing 30 Years' War yet. So it goes like this. France reasserts its power around the turn or the middle of the 19th century. And under Napoleon III, you have the reestablishing of a French empire. And so everyone gets scared. And so you have the leaders in other countries thinking, well, what can we do? Like, we can't be rolled over by France again. And so if you think about it in terms of like a balance of power thing, Europe was trying to rebalance itself. And so having said this, nah, Sal, the powerful girls are the ones who, that's funny. Um, Italy under two guys, Cavour first and then Garibaldi. They have to fight to unify the different states within Italy, which before this was never one country. It was a bunch of smaller republics. So, like the Duchy of Milan, the Papal States, Sicily, Naples, um, Milan, if I said that already. So, what happened here, you have Garibaldi with his red shirts against the Bourbon king of the two Sicilies, fighting against great odds. Garibaldi's bold leadership proved victorious, and the red shirts prepared to march up the Italian peninsula. And let's see here. Cavour intervened so as to prevent a war with France, which had been protecting Rome since the failed revolution of 1848. The Piedmontese army invaded the Papal States and Naples, prompting a confrontation with Garibaldi and his red shirts. Garibaldi accepted the rule of the Piedmontese under the leadership of Victor Emmanuel II, and the Kingdom of Italy was declared in 1861. I did say Milan twice. I am so sorry. So what goes into unification? Number one, the idea of nationalism, unifying under one language, having a shared history, building some type of cultural identity founded around your language, your customs, your religion, etc. And so that gained steam during the 19th century. It's a result of the Industrial Revolution, or it's a byproduct of it. I like to think that the increased power is something that states are more inclined to say, well, we need to capitalize on this. So let's see what you guys are saying. Congress of Vienna is successful at maintaining conservatives over until Austrian Prime Minister loses power. Austrian revolt. Okay, that's fine. Okay, Danny Leon, I'm not too sure about that. Bourgeoisie 10 times. Say bourgeoisie 10 times without stuttering, and it'll help me with the final. That is so funny, Lunch Lady Boy Toy. I don't know who you are, but I have a guess. And I'm not going to guess yet, but I think I know who you are. Hassan says religion also plays a part in nationalism. That is correct. Oh my God, you're an actual saint. Danny, how do you remember these things? Well, I don't know. I think he reads a lot. Okay. Oh my God, you're an actual saint. Okay, so there you go. So Germany has Bismarck. Germany, under Bismarck, he's the chancellor of Prussia. He co-ops the unions. Economic progress was achieved by eliminating tolls on trade routes. So he uses the Industrial Revolution and the growing middle class as a reason, or as a way to gain support for his policies. And so when the middle class liberals challenged the growing influence of the Prussian military, King William appointed Otto von Bismarck chancellor in hopes of containing liberal dissent. Bismarck's reign as chancellor proved vitally important to the fate of not only Germany, but Europe as well. As a dominating force, Bismarck practiced realpolitik, in which political decisions are based on everyday realities, such as the growing political power of the labor movement, rather than ethics or morality. In practice, this meant allowing his enemies certain victories as long as the overall political advantage remained on the side of Prussia. So, ladies and gentlemen, this becomes this is big. I mean, in terms of growing a nation, Bismarck's leadership is important. So let's look. Crimean War ends the concert of Europe. Oh yes, because they get a little too full of themselves in deciding that, hey, they can just stop anything from happening, when they're really just throwing their forces out there to die. So the failures of 1848. So if you move back, you can find the Crimean War on, I want to say here, what page is this? Piedmont Revolutions of 1848, revolts in the 1830s. Okay, there you go. Okay, I'm done. Lunch Lady Boy Toy is not Mr. Styles. I think it's a certain person who, on his project, calls a part of his island the sheet hole. And that might be right. Okay, Hassan says, it's not Hunter. Oh my gosh, no, Danny, it's not Hunter. I know exactly who it is. He's the one who brought David Segovia in here and Cameron Ecobellis into this meeting. And here I am. I can't kick people out. That's funny. Okay, 30 Years War. Anyone have an opposition to Hassan's request for 30 Years War? Anybody? I'll find it. Martin Luther, Calvinism, English Reformation with witchcraft. Oh, you know what? I'm going to call it right now. I bet you on this test, Cameron, you're not even in this class. You don't get to vote. I bet you in this test, you are going to have something on witchcraft. Just watch. I got this. Let's see. Muhammad, the Spanish Civil War. That's terrible. That's so early on. Oh, by the way, speaking of 30 Years War, I didn't mention this when we talked about it in class. Which of the European powers loses its prominence in Europe after the 30 Years War? Boom. Who's got that one? I'll wait. I'll wait for that one. Which of the European powers loses? Like, we can glance, but I doubt we will cover it. Whoa! Okay, that's airplane. Okay, that's fine. Thought it was Thanos, coming down. I gotta run away and shoot him while I'm running. Okay, Hassan says Spain. Danny says Spain. Danny says Spain. That is correct, ladies and gentlemen. Spain is the big loser as a result of the 30 Years War, primarily because, and Cameron, you're right too. Good job, Cameron. You're amazing. Okay, let me find it. Spanish Civil War. Where is it? You guys want to help me find it? Religious wars. 95 Theses. Corruption within the church. Martin Luther. Man, look at all this stuff. Snaps his fingers. You know what? For one of these, I'm going to have an infinity gauntlet. That's what I'm going to have next. I'm just going to wield it. Then I can use it through here so that if I can do it through here, I can use the reality stone and make you think that you're going to pass this test. But really, you're all in for a world of hurt. The 30 Years War, page 112. Okay. Religious wars were most pointless, but that's just me. Dread it, run from it. The AP test still arrives. Okay, very good. The 30 Years War is often considered the last of Europeans' religious wars. It erupted from both religious and political rivalries between Protestant and Catholic leagues over issues that festered since 1555, when the Peace of Augsburg failed to recognize the legality of Calvinism. The war, mainly fought in the Holy Roman Empire, consisted of 4 major phases. It began with the defenestration. Oh, the defenestration of Prague. What is the defenestration? Who knows the definition of defenestration? That's an interesting word. Let's see. Define defenestration.
Defenestration, the action of throwing someone or something out of a window.
Ah, so it just said here, it began with the defenestration of Prague. So the throwing of Prague out the window, me, Danny, watching this vid at my house. Okay, good. Okay, that's fine. Good. You guys can tell me who watched and who didn't, and that's fine. When Bohemian princes rejected Archduke Ferdinand as their king, and threw several of his representatives out a castle window into a moat of manure. So they lived then, these people from Prague. The nobles chose Frederick IV as their king, and Ferdinand, now the Holy Roman Emperor, declared war using imperial forces and those of Habsburg Spain to bring down the Protestant rebels who got support from the Dutch. So there you go. You've got this war. It's like a rivalry. How many Dannies are in the stream? There's at least 4. Spain still arrives. Thanos. In phase 2, the Danish phase, Lutheran King Christian IV of Denmark made an anti-Habsburg alliance with England and the Dutch and marched in to help the Protestants in Germany, but lost to the empire. Phase 3, the Swedish, began when Swedish King Gustav Adolphus marched into northern Germany to help German Protestants and extend Swedish power. So here's the thing. The way that I look at this is it's this turf war, because the Europe gets all territory based on religion, and so it becomes this. Okay, well, who's Catholic and who's Protestant? The Catholics don't like the Protestants, so the Catholics look to kill the Protestants, and the Protestants aren't happy with that, so they band together, they fight back, and it becomes this big. I want to say it's like an all-out civil war of religion. And so it's like Captain America's on. Let's see. There's Captain America and Iron Man. And so if we're going to make an analogy here, analogy that works, you have to have seen Captain America Civil War. And so it goes like this. There are 2 sides to this battle. There is the Protestant side, and then there's the Catholic side. Which one of them is Captain America? I'll let you guys respond. Which one of them is Captain America? Protestants or Catholics? Claimed it was the Virgin Mary that saved them from the fall. Okay, so Jonah says Team Cap, but he doesn't say which side he's on, Protestant or Catholic. I hope they remember you. Okay, fine. Captain America was Protestant. Catholics are Thanos, the ones that the 2 groups fought like in a Walmart parking lot, right? Cap is the Catholic. No, see, I would actually. Okay, so in the movie, Captain America is the one who kind of goes off script and kind of goes against the established order. And because he goes against Shield, against the established. Kelly, you're killing me. You got to see these movies. So Cap is the rebel. He is the Protestant side of this thing. And then Iron Man represents, the stability or the existing order. You guys just fall into place and just sign the treaty, all this stuff. And so Iron Man represents the Catholics. And so you have these alliances that form that really lead to a stalemate when it comes down to it. Nobody really wins in this. So it goes like this. So like Captain America's Protestant, and then you have people who join each side. So you can think of the other heroes that kind of band with Captain America or band with Iron Man as the people in this war who kind of come on. And so you've got the Swedish king, Gustav, what's his name? Adolphus, he's like the Vision. No, actually, he comes on Captain America's side. So he would be, let's see, not Hawkeye. Who would he be? Swedish king who gets involved. I don't know. He could be Falcon, but I think Gustav King is the Scarlet Witch. I think that's how it goes. And the Habsburgs on the Spanish side are like Spider-Man and Iron. The Iron, what's his name? The black Don Cheadle's character. The Iron Patriot or War Machine. There you go. So intended to end the war. Okay, so here we go. Anyways, the Swedes get in it. The French get into this thing. Catholic France comes to help. Oh, see, it's funny. France is Catholic, but then they switch sides. So France is like the Black Widow. Okay, the Hawkeye reference is a stretch. That's funny. Okay, so check it out. Catholic France in 1635 arrived to help the Protestants in Sweden. So even though they're Catholic, they help the Protestants. So that's like Black Widow and kind of Black Panther. Largely a battle for supremacy between France and Spain. The war continues on German soil, devastating German lands, and in 1659 the fighting between the two powers finally stops, with France emerging as the dominant power in Europe. So it says to end the war, the Peace of Westphalia comes in 1648, with the principle of cuius regio, eius religo, which gave whoever controlled the land the right to choose the religion of that realm. So this time Calvinism could be chosen. France gained a small amounts from the Habsburg lands, and its growing power and prestige finally opened the door for the rise of Bourbon dominance under Louis XIV. And finally, the secularization of politics was confirmed when the Pope was not even invited to the negotiating process. So there you go. All right, see, Wakanda is Poland easily conquered. That is terrible. Muhammad squared that about electricity and cars. That's right. Okay. Muhammad, Second Industrial Revolution. Okay, Second Industrial Revolution. I'm going to look at this one, and we're going to move on to the next topic. Second Industrial Revolution. Okay, so um, the Second Industrial Revolution is predicated. I'm not sure how or why it started. Sorry. What are you talking about? How or why it started? Danny, are you talking about the 30 Years War? Danny, before I go on to Second Industrial Revolution, as a result of Muhammad's request, you can type in what you were thinking with that comment. I'll wait. I'm going to page 308 right now. Don't worry. Don't worry, Muhammad. We're good. We cool. No Second Industrial Revolution. Okay, so Danny, the 30 Years War starts because of a turf war between Catholics and Protestants. Okay, what are some reasons that Central Europe developed faster than Eastern Europe? I wasn't sure why it started or how. Well, it starts um, because the Protestants don't like Catholics and Catholics don't like Protestants. So on page 308, Second Industrial Revolution. Um, the Second Industrial Revolution saw the invention of products that transformed not only industrial production, but also the world in which people lived. So you can contrast the Second Revolution with the First Industrial Revolution in that there were more sweeping changes that occurred for society as a result of the Second Industrial Revolution. Um, you just explained it. Okay, so there you go. So Second Industrial Revolution comes. Pongco, what's behind you? Let's see what's behind me. Who's behind me? Oh, I'm scared. You guys are terrible with these Marvel. There is nobody in my backyard, and you're scaring me, so knock it off. There's someone in your backyard. Okay, here we go. Second Industrial Revolution. With the introduction of the Bessemer process, steel in the 1860s, steel production increased tremendously. Soon, steel was used in a variety of ways that influenced manufacturing, and transportation was also affected by the large increase of steel for shipping and railroad industries incorporating of steel in designing improved products. Advances in electricity were also revolutionary. By the end of the century, European cities enjoyed the benefits and conveniences of electricity, which served as the primary source for energy used in lighting, transportation, and factory work. Drax is standing so still that you can't see him behind you during the whole strip. You guys are funny. Okay, so second industrial revolution is focused on how it changes society in terms of urban planning, the building of skyscrapers, um, public transportation in cities, trains, trolleys, eventually cars. Um, the first industrial revolution was more about the production of things. So the assembly, oh, not the assembly line, but the factory with the water mills, the textile revolution of England. Um, yeah. Anyways, Great Britain is the foremost leader in um, in the first industrial revolution, and then you see the United States, France, and Germany really picking up speed, and the rest of continental Europe, by the way, getting the industrial revolution. So, one important thing that I'm going to point out, um, Mr. Me during AP test, Mr. Pongco, I don't feel so good. Ash. Okay, goes like this. Germany by 1870 surpasses Great Britain as the leading industrial power of Europe. German industrialists were more open to innovation, and the German government encouraged the advancement of science and technology. That's not to say that Great Britain wasn't doing it, but this whole nation building thing, kind of coupled with industrial revolution, made for a really potent mix, and so it allowed countries to marshal their resources in such a way that they could, one, increase their own production, and two, build out their cities in ways that England wasn't able to, because everything came out just kind of like everything sprawled out of the first industrial revolution. Second one had more order to it, and so it kind of worked out. So that's when I look at both of those, I look at the effects of um, the thing. Hi, sorry, I've had trouble logging into my Remind. Forced to make a new one. Okay, there you go. That's fine. Okay, let's see here. Police had the first police industrialized cities in 1829 in Britain. Okay, that's correct. That's a good fact. So yes, with urbanization comes new ways of controlling the populace. So modern police forces are created in order to maintain order and protect people's property. So that's a good thing. Jonah says, please, Mr. Pongco, I don't want to fail me during Avengers AP War. Okay, got it. Yeah, who is that lol? Cameron Ecabella still in this, huh? Captain America of canon Marvel Earth number 616 has been listed as a devoutly Protestant images of Earth. Okay, that's fine. Peelers and bobbies. Okay, anyways. All right. So second industrial revolution really is that first integration of industry and state building. So that's a big thing to look up. Ew, more people moved into bigger cities, so bigger populations. Okay, that's fine. Okay, fine. Okay. Henry says message retracted. Oh, look at you guys. There's the whole socialism thing. Man, this is so much. I look at this, I'm like, ugh. Okay. Well, you guys are probably tired of me now. We haven't even touched on imperialism. We haven't even talked about advancements in science during and after the Industrial Revolution. Where does socialism fit in with the success of? Okay, that's an easy answer. Lunch lady boy toy one. So the rise of socialism comes as a reaction to the exploitation of the worker, or the perceived riches and excesses of wealth created during the Industrial Revolution. Saw that it was predicated on the backs of the working people, who felt marginalized by a system that favored the capitalists and the people rather than the workers themselves. So that's one reason, one of the many reasons that socialism becomes a bigger movement as a result of the Industrial Revolution. Okay, let's see here. Uh, Mr. Pongco, I don't feel so good. Women in science. I'll let you guys look that one up. Can we talk about the colonization of Africa, especially Wakanda? No. Can you contrast mass society in the 1880s and mass? Oh, dude, that's easier. Okay, so mass society in the 1880s was smaller, number one, and number two, mass society in the 1900s had much more in the way of technology and conveniences that made everyday life a lot um, more convenient. Let's see here. Um, Mass society. The reading's still big. You have a larger middle class in the 1900s versus the 1800s. Um, you have a more educated and more literate population in the 1900s versus the 1880s. Sure. You have a wider audience, so mass media becomes a thing, radio becomes a thing. Let's see what else. Contrasting mass society. Um, the car becomes a thing. Oh, people are more politically active in the 1900s. So all that. Okay, there you go. Kelly says, Mr. Ponko, what do you consider the hardest concept in AP Euro to grasp? That's a good question. Hi, what's up? Where are you going? How are you going home? Okay, I'm ending in like 5 minutes. If you want me to take you, can you ask? Okay. Okay, hold on. Wait. You want to say hi to my kids? Do you know any sophomores? Here, come say hi. My class. Henry, do you know any sophomores?
Yeah.
Say hi. Shatsi, do you want to say hi to my class? I'm live streaming right now. You want to say hi?
Hi. I don't know where I'm looking.
You're looking right here.
Right there. Hello. Good luck, you guys. Friday. Yep. Good luck.
What art style is your live stream? That's funny. Okay. An oxymoron, white man's burden. Okay. I think the hardest thing. Okay. Danny says hi. Jonah says hi. And somebody else says hi. Miss Mole, good morale raiser. You're a good morale raiser. She loves you guys. Is this full? Okay, cool. All right. Bye, guys. Take care. Okay, so uh, for me, I think the hardest thing to grasp is some of the intellectual stuff can be hard to distinguish when things happen, and then it's a matter of remembering everything. So, for example, scientific revolution has its own set of people to remember and concepts. And for me, I think the hardest thing is anytime people start grasping what knowledge is and what truth is. I think that's a hard thing to conceptualize. So, for example, um, not Dadaism. Dadaism's that's nothing. So for me, it goes like this: like Sir Francis Bacon and the Descartes idea of the blank slate, that people are a tabula rasa, that they can learn new things, etc. I think that it's just tough um, to one grasp their thinking, and then two to be able to articulate it is harder. So I don't know. I excel at nothing. And then finally, like if you move forward, you have the scientific revolution, then you have the scientific discoveries of the 19th and 20th century. You have psychoanalysis, and you have the works of Freud and other psychiatrists or psychologists. There's all kinds of stuff. I don't know. It's just tough for me. So, Kelly, to answer your question, it's more knowing the intellectual movements is the hardest thing to quantify, because these people operate thinking wise at a so much higher level than we do. And for them to come up with certain discoveries and truths so early in, relative to history is actually pretty amazing. Okay, let's see. I see a lot of nothing matters. Giselle says nothing matters. I excel at nothing. I excel at Dadaism. I would pay to watch Pongco live streams weekly. I feel you, Giselle. I excel at existentialism, not wanting to exist in a big mood. Okay, well, existentialism is not about existing, it's about the world that we create means nothing unless we ourselves give meaning to it, because life is meaningless on its face. So there you go, there's that. Clay Styles face reveal. Nope. Uh, I don't feel so good. Pongco, nope. I am second, Mr. Guy. Nice. Message retracted. Cameron Echo Bellis. What is a topic you think is important to remember? The one, me most likely. Okay, I haven't prepared for. I think I really come back down to art. So I think that it's knowing enough about the art to answer a multiple choice question. Sometimes that's hard. I'm subbing to your Twitch Fortnite live streams. Okay, good. Mersalt. Okay, thank you. Can you answer the question? It's a good one. Which one is that? Which question, Mohammed? I don't know which question. Art questions are hard unless it's political comics. Yeah, Hunter asking the real questions. Art is important. Mersalt is dumb. David Segovia, thank you. Art questions are hard unless it's political comments. What's the big deal? AP test question. Like, just tell the girl you love her and don't kill no one. That's funny. Whipped Cream Supreme. I have no idea who that is. Party on Styles Yacht. You down, Pongco? Muhammad, you okay? Good, good. Okay, so anyways, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I'll just answer any. I'll just stay online in case anyone wants to ask a weird question. And you know what? At the same time, I will. I think maybe it's not time for that. Let's see here. Mersalt. Who is Mersalt? Mersalt wrote The Stranger. Mersalt is an extension of existentialism. He is actually an absurdist. Those of you who asked who is Mersalt. And he writes, I think, in the middle of the 20th century. And he's an extension of, I guess, the works of Hemingway, etc. This is Oscar Worthy, just waiting for the vape. That's funny. Don't leave, Pongco. I don't feel so good. I need like the ash effect so I can like leave. What is The Stranger? The Stranger, you're gonna read that in AP Lit, don't worry. So when you're a senior, you're going to read The Stranger. Mersalt is like, oh, sorry, I'm an idiot. Uh, Albert Camus did write The Stranger. Thank you. I stand corrected. And Mersalt is he a character in the book? Okay, then that's correct. Does the test ask anything post? Yes, it will ask. And I'm going to call it right now. I'm going to call that the post 20th century questions you're going to get post Cold War is stuff about political parties being more environmentally savvy or environmentally aware. You might get a question about welfare challenges and government, socialist governments in Europe kind of trying to account for the financing of their socialist policies. Let's see here. Another question you might get is, let's see, post-World War. Maybe something about popular culture of the 1980s. Maybe terrorism. You could always have a question about global terrorism and the rise of instability in the Middle East. So sure. Who is? Oh, lunch lady's Gideon. I totally get that one. Like you haven't done anything to hide that one from me. Why is John Cena in the background? I wish I could just pop up some graphics here. It would be funny. Let's see here. And if Hydra looked at Uriel Real Talk, can we please discuss the role of the Winter Soldier? That's revisionist history. And Howard Stark did not exist. The Super Soldier program and the Red Skull and Hydra did not exist. I'm sorry, you guys. That's all just hogwash. Okay. All right. All right. I think I'm done. I'm so done. The Winter Soldier assassinates Howard Stark and his mother. Okay, anyways, you guys take care. It was great. Next time I'll Twitch my Clash Royale feed. I'll put it up, and then you guys keep studying, make it happen. Okay? All right. Peace, and thank you guys for all being here. You were a great crowd. Play one Fortnite game before you go. Let's see here. Okay. But you can't, I got to find a way to stream it. So how do I do that? Can I do that on here? Don't delete the stream so we can rewatch it. That's terrible. Switching to Twitch. Like, can you Twitch from your phone? That's my question. Okay, you're welcome. Bye, you guys. Have a great evening. Study. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And do you guys want to do this tomorrow too? Screen record and upgrade a compilation. Bye. Okay, take care, guys. We'll see you. I'm going to go. I'm going to see you guys later. Mouse. Senate votes 52 to 47 to overturn FCC's rebut. Okay, yes, that's fine. I expected that, Henry. Yes, por favor. Okay, I might do this tomorrow. I will gauge what period 3A says tomorrow. YouTube trending, mark my words. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And Caleb, good job. We'll see you guys later.